Like to call tonight's planning board meeting for the town of Pompey to order. First, if we could all stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the board has had a chance to review our minutes from last month's meeting on March 17th. Are there any other additions, corrections, additions to those meeting minutes?
To the left.
That means to the left tonight. Yeah. Okay, hearing none, I make a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
And thank you to John Shaheen for taking those minutes. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. I guess first we'll start off again. I'm Sue Smith, chairwoman of the Town of Pompey Planning Board. To my right is Sarah Lou Judas, our secretary. To my left are board members Carl Fahrenkrug, Dan Bargavas, Deb Cook, and Will Frazee. We are missing John Shaheen and Kevin Corson this evening. John Dunkel, town engineer, Amelia McLean Robertson, our town attorney, and Tim Barrett in the rear is our code enforcement officer. First item agenda on this evening's agenda is the Nappy subdivision. This is continued review of a subdivision of two existing lots to be broken into three lots located at 6941 Casanta Drive and 4271 Gates Road in the town of Pompey. Tax map numbers 001-02-14-4, 001-06-04.0. Come on up.
Good evening, everybody. Jacob Grupta here. Tonight I have updated another map for you guys.
Just spell your last name.
Grubka. So we have Jonathan Schechter, our attorney, on Zoom.
Thanks.
Number of edits, I think. I think we've got them all, but ready to review.
You have some quick change for me from the last meeting.
A number of them are adding septic and well locations on lot 2D, renaming, I believe, lot 2D as well. We also added the stream. We see my notes here. I know we relabel our neighbors to the south on Gates Road. Contour, well, I know they were on the last map. Provided, right?
We haven't seen any other contours.
So do you think the USGS will be enough? though? I mean, they did a lot of grading and a lot of earthwork up there.
Depends on, I mean, you can use LiDAR. That as well. We thought that USGS would be enough, that would be the idea. Where the top would go, which way it drains, and but if they manipulated a lot since. USGS.
Well, yeah,
Right.
This is,
Right. I have it. I guess I didn't. It wasn't in my folder that I brought with me. I know I've seen the map. But I definitely can bring that with you.
So at the intersection of two B and two A on that drive, has there been a resolution on what's gonna happen in that area? So they're talking about the driveways were coming together.
Jonathan had an answer for that. I believe we weren't going to do, we were gonna end up blocking it,
Oh, he did.
so there would be no access.
So is this the lawyer?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
He wants to comment, so.
You should be able to.
Oh, hi. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Jonathan.
How are you? So I'm sorry let me go back to topography. We didn't pop the topography on because we really were able to show the stream because to do a topo of this whole site, it could take us a long time. So, but we were able to show the stream, and obviously you're going from the higher up is really 2B down to 2A. So everything kind of up from up there is draining down into the stream. Is that correct, Jacob?
Yeah.
In there, right? Okay, good. Okay.
And
So-
Jonathan, I do have a map. I do have a map of, what was it, the USG
Topography.
topography from OnGov laid on top of this. But,
Which just not where we've seen it.
right,
Yeah.
right. I can email it over to you as well, but, it's not
It's
here.
not unusual, Jonathan, for us to ask for the topography on,
Yeah.
on these, that it just helps bring it everything all together for us and looking
Yep.
at the entirety of the projects.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I totally understand. But yeah, when we talked to the surveyor, I mean, he was just telling us it was gonna take forever, and I'm like, well, can you show us a stream at least? And so I got on my hands and knees and begged for that to kind of show that. So, because I'm not sure what the requirements. I don't know if they're gonna be able to lay it on us, or if he's gotta go out there and actually topo it.
Yeah, no,
Right.
we need that.
so,
Just get some,
yeah,
an overlay of either from the county or from LiDAR. There's plenty different sources.
yeah, and that I do
Doesn't
have.
require anybody on the ground.
Right.
That would be helpful. If I would have known that, I would have thought about that. Okay, I didn't know we could do that, but okay. And then somebody just asked about, I'm sorry, I didn't catch the question on 2A-ish or 2D-ish. What was that?
Yeah, we had talked a little bit before about where the driveways come together in two A and two B. I don't know that there was a resolution on what to do or if anything needed to be done, but it was discussion of what was going on there because just a little overlapping property lines, things like that.
Yeah, so for 2A, 2B, yeah, we were gonna end it. Yeah, we're not gonna let them. We're gonna give an easement from we're gonna, 2B is gonna give an easement to 2C to get into their lot. And that was really it, but we were definitely gonna, we're not letting anybody, we don't want anybody driving up into us up there.
The
So-
fuel storage that you have shown on 2A,
Yes, say
What
that
kind-
again, I'm sorry. The what on 2A?
looking at the map, the fuel storage appears to be one. What's the setback, or can that be moved?
Fuel storage was moved, it's no longer there. Fuel storage is now on lot 2A, well, I guess more on 2A, but Let me show you where that one is now.
Yeah, I'm saying it shows it's right.
Yeah, not there anymore. It is now. Oh,
This is too.
yeah, it is now right there. That's where fuel storage is.
It should be.
Yeah, so we'll have to remove that. Fuel storage is now. Right there. Lot zero detail.
You know, have you seen anything on easement? Driveway or access? Nothing.
You know what, I didn't draft it yet. I wanted to make sure that, all my lot lines are gonna be okay, and I still have to go for the variance. But, was there anything in particular that you were concerned about in seeing that easement that you needed to see in it by any chance? Because I would just do a typical, that 2C gets, 2B is granted 2C an easement for vehicle or pedestrian traffic to go up the driveway to access its lot, blah, blah, blah. And that would probably be about it. So I didn't know if there was anything you needed to see. Because my big issue is this flag lot issue that we're gonna have after we get through you guys, if we can get that done, because we're never gonna make the 2.5 to 1 under the code.
Yeah, as far as the language, that sounds standard, but usually they'll mark it on the map too, where that's gonna be.
Okay,
And also for lot 2D, I feel like last time we talked about that being a lot line adjustment, isn't that already
yes,
for lot?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so, and then these are the proposed. So are we
yes.
looking at 2D then, because I had on the
No,
notes.
so what we were gonna do, just so, and I have my notes, so we're good. I have we were gonna create 3 lot division lines, 2A, B, and C, and a lot line move at lot 2D. So that's really just a move at 2D, because that's already a separate, 2D is a separate lot. We're now just moving that line, so the septic will be on 2A. Correct,
Okay, so
Jacob?
Yeah.
But what you're calling right now lot 2D, what originally was that lot name?
I think it said 2D last time they were here, but it was an existing lot, and we asked them to change it to the address.
Yeah, it's really 42, it's 4275 Gates.
Yeah, because it's not, it's already its own lot, they're just changing the
Yeah.
line. Yeah, so they need
Yeah.
to take that off, so when they redo it, they can. Yeah.
Just remove lot 2D.
And put,
The
yeah,
And we're gonna call it 4275 Gates, Jacob. He actually didn't catch that one. Because that way we know what it is, because that way it doesn't look confusing. As we discussed that, they were really helpful last month, so, okay. Yeah,
So-
that's not a separate lot, that's 4275 Gates with a lot line being moved.
So we do have the tax map number on there.
Right,
We have the owner on there. Just remove lot 2D.
Yeah, we'll put the address there if I can't see it. It's hard I have a smaller version of your print.
So add the address as well.
Yeah,
but they'll say 4275 Gates Road.
Oh, it does. Yeah, that's right. There it is.
okay, all right, so so really we'll take out 2D, so nobody's confused, that we're not
Yeah.
creating four lots. That was our big issue
Okay,
before.
let's just remove lot 2D, and everything else is there. The tax map number, the name, the address, the well, the septic.
so when this is ready for seeker, we need a new, part 1 of the EAF to reflect we're doing the lots, the subdivision and the lot line adjustment.
Okay.
And you guys are the agency for seeker, right? The planning
Yeah.
board? Great, okay. All right, we're getting there, Jacob. It's like getting slower, okay. We're getting there,
Yeah.
okay. And then I think we were supposed to show, we showed the septic and the well. I think we can show you how far all the improvements are from the lot lines. We got that on there, right, Jacob? That was another thing that you asked for last month.
I believe so.
And I think we did. It was really tight, along B and C. And when we explained that we made the lot line, that we were okay being so close to the lot line because it was a multifamily or it was a livable structure or something. So I think we passed muster there.
Right, for like lot 2C and 2B, the one garage, there's a showing 50 feet and 6 feet from the lot line,
That was it. That's 6 feet.
20 feet in one area, yeah.
Like there's a couple setbacks missing between 2B and 2A.
There's still a couple lines missing between 2B and 2A off to the improvements.
Yeah, between the buildings there. Sure, it's okay, and then building on lot 2A to what's now currently labeled 2D.
So which setbacks are you looking to see numbers?
So you want,
Okay. This one is 35, right?
Yeah.
oh, that building, you want to show how far that building is off the lot line?
Yes, that's all. Just to show.
Okay. I can see, you're right. It's not there. All right.
I think this one's showing 16. This one is showing 16, right? That's what that is, 16 here and there.
Okay. Yeah, it's on there.
But then there's nothing, no, there's
Yeah.
nothing there. 35 here. I guess I can, but I know it's more footage here, I can say.
Yeah.
This from here is not showing, but I
Right.
get that,
Yes.
if you need
6
that.
Yeah.
So this one to here too, you're saying?
Mhm.
This one, this to here.
That is there.
Well, that did 16.
And then
Well, what's that code? Why not make it to the code? Well, that's what the code is.
We're just kind of curious on, between lot 2C and 2B, the one building that has the 6-foot setback there.
Yes.
I know it's code and so on, but
Yep.
in terms of maintenance and looking down the road, why not give them a little bit of extra leeway, just thinking
Well, actually, the way it was said, I guess.
right there. You know, somebody's trying to do maintenance and then around, so. You know, here's. I'm just thinking maintenance.
I mean, So this is
You-
all,
you
this is
know
all
it.
woods, right?
Okay, so let's get
but-
over
so-
the so on.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
cleared it one.
Yeah, the rock wall right here, existing rock wall.
Just.
So could it,
Just.
so come like an angle almost, or this way down, or?
Take the 88 feet and make it 92 feet. Take it 6 feet,
Oh.
make it 8 feet.
Go 4 feet down more. Yeah.
Just saying, maintenance. I was trying to do.
So move it 2 feet westerly, you were thinking, easterly? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, but yeah, I see,
Okay,
oh, no,
You know
Yes.
it better
Oh,
than we
yeah.
do, but I'm
Yeah.
looking at it, going, thinking maintenance or something gets over.
Sure.
You know,
building.
it's a-
Just a little. Sure, sure. Yeah, that.
They would never make that any taller.
That might not. No, place go.
So is this,
As you put them children.
you're gonna go to the zoning board then for this flag?
Thank goodness for reports. So-
You're not doing anything to that one, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Absolutely. And that'll be
Because
a planning board
The
issue.
building's there, when you get that.
I think that would be up to us.
Oh, yeah, much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to.
That would be kind of them.
We want to meeting and look at just. Back.
I could email it to you first thing in the morning,
Up to you guys, I mean.
or even when I get to my computer, I can do it. You know, tonight, when I get home,
That's it.
either way. Yeah.
Because I know we've asked one or two.
Yeah.
days for them to get. It's-
For seeker, everything will be after to get. They go through zoning board. And seeker, we do that after zoning, after they go to the zoning board.
Yes. Yeah, it's all good. John O'Malley, do you have any other comments? Tim, did you have anything else?
No, I'm just listening to what you guys are bringing up.
Is there any way to get, like a, can we leave with at least a contingent approval tonight with whatever those additional changes are and at least get the zoning and the variance issues? Or is that something we gotta wait another month on?
We can't act until you get the variance.
No, I mean, we want you to act until I get the variance, right? Understood. But I just didn't know when we could go and ask for the variance if we have,
Probably one more.
an okay blessing, I guess is what I'm trying to say. An okay blessing, or if we need one more before we even head for the variance.
What are you saying?
I think he's saying, do we want the finalized map before it goes for the variance? I mean, it's coming back to us after the ZBA anyway.
Let them go to ZBA and make sure when they come back to us, have the maps right.
Yeah, like unless the topography would somehow impact the variance analysis, which I don't think it would because it's the flag lot issue. That one of the, I think that one. So you guys aren't doing a driveway here, right? So it would be, so that's another variance because they're having their access to another lot. And then,
And that is impacted by the top elevation, so that's why they're not steep there.
yeah, which makes sense. And I think, I forget, yeah, the. Yeah, it's the ratio.
The ratio.
Yeah, 2:1, yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's you guys' call, but unless we're gonna be seeing it again anyway, so.
I missed though, I heard something. Did you say I have to request a second variance? Did I miss something? I knew the 1-to-1, the 2.5 to 1. you-
Well, so the only access to lot 2C is through the easement on 2B. Is that correct?
That is true. Yeah, we can only share that driveway. Yeah.
So that would require one too.
So we'll need two variants. Okay, so we have the flag lot variance and then we need the variance. Well, all the more reason that I can then do my easement for that. Okay, because I'll need that. Okay.
And really, as the applicant, if the topography is the reason you need the variance for 2C, and it makes it easier to explain your request to the ZBA, you might want to have that on there before you go to.
That's a pretty good tip. And I think if he could overlay the GIS stuff onto there, that would be, or whatever it is, the topo stuff from the
Yeah, so-
environmental, that would be, that way he doesn't have to go out there and measure, like measuring mountains. I think he was afraid of that when we mentioned it to him. I think we shocked him.
We did.
We did shock him. Yeah, we're doing a pretty good job here. We're getting there.
But you've got that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But you guys have been great though, actually. It's very helpful getting us where we need to be.
This is the same flag lot issue that this one has, that 2-to-1 ratio thing,
Right.
so it's.
So one variance for this lot, one variance for
this
these
one.
two, plus one for the driveway.
Total of 3
Three
variants.
variances, yeah. So it's, Jonathan, 3 variances.
Total of 3, excuse me, total of 3 variances. 2 of those variances are for the same reason, but they apply to 2 different lots.
Right, 2A and 2B, correct? Because they're not gonna be 2.5 to 1. And then
And
my
the-
third variance is for 2C to use the access from the easement area for over 2B, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Or not, it's because it's it, so it's- I mean, it's-
No, but you see,
See,
Well,
because of access.
Well, I don't.
distance.
Seems like you could still have a conforming and just have the driveway. Doesn't need access in order to.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a little-
Theoretically, it has
but yeah, but it's not on their property.
It's real steep.
Mhm.
So
It is steep. I guess that's where the topo will really help. You'll see that it's a steep, you're going uphill from Casanta and Gates, right, Jacob?
Yeah, yeah.
So
What's
this,
the percent grade?
Uh,
Define real steep.
Halfway up, I stop and. Um,
12%.
Frank along the road, Steve, the point is to go on the topic. It's.
You definitely get your heart rate up. I mean, I don't know percent grade, but.
Just curious.
If you did, I'd be really impressed, Jacob, if you knew that one off the top of your head.
I mean, I'd say I'd probably walk in. Like that all the way. I mean, how long's the driveway? Takes me probably 7 minutes to walk up the driveway.
And the area on 2C is just as steeper.
Oh, yeah.
But that's, okay, for our benefit. Steepness, but if there was a driveway cut on Casanta for 2C, would there be visibility?
I didn't follow the question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Distance.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Theoretically, if you cut a driveway on lot 2C directly,
Yes,
how would the site distance look on Casanta Drive?
this, what this.
So are you telling us
Yeah.
that you can't put a driveway on 2C because there's not enough site distance you got to the road? Or that we don't want another driveway because it's so steep going into the lot?
Both. I mean, it's steep. I mean.
It actually, I think the lot line now, the driveway's on 2C. If I recall, the current lot lines. But I think during one of our meetings, it was suggested to kind of move it over, to give us, we had to move it over. I don't know if it was the frontage or what it was on Casanta. So either way, it would be, either way, even if I move the lot line back, I would have to grant an easement from C 2C to 2B to use it, as opposed to 2B to 2C.
Well, I think tonight that's all that we can do this.
So let's go back and summarize, because I'm the one who's gonna get in trouble if I don't do it right. So I think, all right, so I've got 2 flag lot variances, simple. I've got the variance for the easement if I'm gonna give it from B to C, which I would hope we can keep. Were there a couple distances that you did want us to move around the garage area where we, between C and B? did you want us to move it over 2 feet, or were we gonna be, were we okay with 6 feet?
If we can move it over like 4 feet at least.
Make it
All
10.
right,
Maybe.
you
Yeah,
make it an even 10, okay. All right, that doesn't, now that doesn't affect anything on the other side. We're still far enough away from the house and everything, right?
yes.
Okay, all right, so we'll make that 10 feet. Okay. Topo, we talked about that. And labeling 4275 gates. And then I think we'll come back and then we'll be able to go to the ZBA. As the next step.
That's in the driveway.
They're not putting a driveway in this one.
Yeah, I don't think we can, I think adding a driveway would really be,
But is it driveway to the zone or not?
Well, so normally we would request driveway approval to approve the subdivision, but because they don't want to do it, it's effectively almost like a landlocked parcel. So they're getting an easement to have,
Right, but it's in zone.
Yeah,
That's what we can do.
I'm just gonna go to zone.
Stand close.
And then
Yeah.
we'll have a note, we'll ask them to have a note on the plan that 2C
Where,
does not have access.
so I do have a question.
Review.
At this,
You
do
can,
we have the right
Yes,
pictures on down there?
yes.
Where is his driveway?
This guy's?
Yeah.
That's it right there.
Yeah, on here.
Well, it's like, I mean, this is such a long distance, it seems like it looks like it would be on here, but it's.
Oh, no, yeah, it's not shown on this parcel.
But it definitely doesn't go on at 2C.
Oh, no, no. Mm-mm. No, and it's like, it's right at the, right at the edge.
can I ask a crazy idea since I've got such an amazing board telling me, give me good ideas? Do you think the lot line between 2B and 2C should be the center line of that driveway and they have a mutual shared easement? Kind of, does that make life a little easier?
I think you would have a frontage issue with 2B, because
Okay. That's what I thought happened. I think that's what happened. That's why we moved it.
yeah, so you'd still need a variance. Because your frontage would be less.
I was thinking I'd still need a variance anyways, but I didn't know if that made anybody more comfortable that it's truly a shared driveway.
Who knows exactly where it is, but.
Yeah.
Because
based
it
on
looks
what
to me
road, you know, So it looks like it's right on,
Right.
you know, we know those yellow lines can be up by a few feet.
Yeah, I mean, we owned this property 3 years ago, we just sold it.
So you just put that,
So I know when they closed, they never came to us saying, hey, our driveway is right there,
did
so.
you show me?
Yeah.
Just looks.
I see what you mean there, yeah.
It's just a property
I
line.
always knew it as me, right on
The overlay does shift, but it makes,
Is that here? This?
so this driveway is not shown, and it's right here.
John.
that's.
Okay.
When we closed on 6945, there was no issue
Yeah.
with driveway, right? And on lot 2C,
250 feet.
No, I don't think so. No. No, it was always, I think it was always 2Cs, so I don't think there was an issue with it.
Did that on that
I
line.
thought I had easement there at one point. I think I crafted one. I think there was another reason. I think there's an easement from C to B is what we had to do.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's right there. Is this cool word? You can measure this. What's your measurement? This is not. That's what I'm, this driveway. Here's.
What's it could be?
This one right there.
Do there, make the scale come back.
So is that to the house, was there a garage or something?
That's 100 feet.
Oh, it's possible. But it's lost. So what's this driveway here that shows up on a satellite?
This one, the neighbors. 6945, you're saying that's.
If that's the driveway.
So they,
That's
so you sold it
250
with the
plus.
driveway? Or,
This traffic? Oh, yeah, that goes to its own.
okay, so Lions owned the house and driveway and they just sold it to somebody else.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little bit here.
Yeah, because I mean, if this driver really comes out there, it's 250 plus. That is,
I bet it's right on the line.
gotta be.
It's right there.
I always thought it was right on the line. There's a big ditch right there, and I always thought it came right to the ditch.
Okay, I think we're set for what we can do tonight, so
So
Yeah,
the
your
other thing
list.
is,
you got the list.
we go to the ZBA?
Put the fuel
Or,
storage in the right spot, huh?
yes.
Yeah.
I'll look to see if there's anything else we got that we moved at one point.
What is the fuel storage?
And you had mentioned, some setbacks.
It's, I forget how many gallons of tank, but it's just for the tractors. Fuel for the tractors,
Okay.
diesel and gasoline, there's two of them.
So it's not field storage, it's fuel storage.
Fuel,
Okay.
yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
hearing works. So I gotta ask questions. So. Yeah, and it's not gas,
Those
it's
are,
fuel.
that was about brine tanks,
Yes,
they have their containment.
yes. Yeah, they got a little concrete thing.
So
I believe it's concrete. Yeah.
This is where the new one.
Yeah.
That's where the old one. No, okay. You set them for this week? Pardon?
So are you sending it to people or you having to come back here first?
Say go ahead and send it on its merits. I think the topography could possibly help you in CBA.
Okay.
Putting that on there.
Yeah.
And all your setbacks and so on.
Yeah, no, we'll add them all on.
So that's a go for the ZBA. Is that what I'm hearing? And then we'll still we have to come back to you guys when we're done with that anyways, correct?
Right, yes.
Well, the more. lines,
Okay.
the better for arguments.
CBA second. CBA second. Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're the third Monday, so it's the
Yeah.
next.
So listen to what Sarah's saying right now, Jonathan.
So that'll be May 12th with the ZBA and they like to have the public hearing right off the bat. So we'll have to be advertised and all the letters out by May 2nd, which is next Friday.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's to all the neighbors, right, within 100?
Yeah. 1,000 people.
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll give you the list of neighbors that you have.
Alrighty.
It's just kind of quick, so.
I got one.
Oh, you have one, okay.
And again, zoning CBA likes one fell swoop, so everything has to be into them so they can have the public hearing and their decision in one meeting.
And this does not have to go to the county at all, Tim?
Double check with the ZBA, but for planning board, did not.
Okay.
It's been a few months, but. Yeah, that's-
I'll send you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you so much for all your help. Okay, Jacob, we'll talk. We're getting there. We'll be back. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye-bye.
10. You said these were for 10. Okay, next up on our agenda, Gorman subdivision. Preliminary review of the subdivision located at Route 91 in the town of Pompey. Exit number 012.-01-0 and 012.-1-26.0. Dan, come on up.
I guess for the record, it probably should be the Stewart subdivision. It's my wife Linda Stewart Gorman. And, I'm just the chief cook and bottle washer at the golf course, so trying to help out as much as I can. You should have this electronically as well. We got tax maps, but you should have gotten it electronically as well. I guess premise for all of this is to get the farm, this is a farm, out of her parents' name. They are getting on in age, and I think, as we all know, healthcare and long-term care has gone through the roof. This farm has been in the family for well over 100 years. The intent is to keep it a farm. There is no actual changes. The only reason for doing any of this is you see lot number 2 has been partitioned out. That is the farmhouse that's been on this property for, I want to say 100 years. I would say at least 100 years. Her brother has been living in that farmhouse now for over 40 years. And so he would probably purchase that portion of it. And then the rest of it is going to be purchased by the remainderment of the siblings, which Linda being one of 3 more. And that's probably it. It's the whole reason. They're just trying to get this piece of land out of their parents' name and into their name, so that if either one of them needed long-term care, they would not lose the family farm that's been in their family for, well, correct me if I'm wrong, well over 100 years. And again, the intention is not to change anything. Van Erden's been farming this farm for quite a while. They want it to remain a farm. And no, that's it. No new development, no anything. I'm not a lawyer, so.
I think this little 60-foot section that's. The reason to not eliminate that.
There is a farm road there. I could show you on some of the, that if you look at the boundary line agreement. The Stewarts just got through, say a few years of litigation with Anthony Madonna. This is just my personal opinion, I'm sorry, but there was an old farm road there. And somebody, a surveyor, quite a while ago, if this was the farm road and this is the north side, this is the south side, the Stewarts actually owned to here, and then the property line went to here. And the agreement ultimately split the road in half, or what was the road, but still the intent is to keep the road there to give access to the farm. That's the only reason that they left that particular portion there, because there still is a road there that Van Erden uses to get access.
Why wasn't that shown? Whereas this other says existing dirt road is shown.
Because the road got split in half on that property line. I can show you, if you want to look, I've got old aerial photos. I can show you the road that was in place, say 1950,
Roads on one lot.
pretty much. But the intent is to keep the road there and then, well, if they have to move it further south, they will. But that gives them added access to the farm. That's the only reason that parcel was left there. There isn't an existing road. That's why it's not on the map.
Lot 2, there's house, it looks like there's a barn there too now, maybe newer.
Where?
It's not shown on the map, but I'm just looking at the satellite footage.
There's an old dilapidated barn that is
Maybe it's
south of it. That's collapsed in.
It would be on lot 1.
Yes. It would, I mean, if you're looking at lot 2, it would be south of lot 2, south of that existing dirt road. It used to, I mean, we have pictures of the old barn. It used to be there, but it's,
I'm not talking about that. I don't know. I could be wrong. I can.
I wouldn't know.
There's 91. Spot, right?
Is that on Anthony's property or
It
theirs?
looks like this is lot 2 is gonna be in here somewhere.
Can I make this big?
Yeah, go do it. I just, I've lost my bearings. So point to the house that we got to school. Okay, it's in there. Thank you. Yep, sorry about that.
What they're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's the old one.
Yeah.
There's another one down here.
Thank you.
Will, you show that down here. Right.
Here, I thought that house was there, but it's this one. And this is where old driveway is. But see, I there.
So I'm saying if they're showing this one, that one should be shown too. Whether it's on their property.
I guess the only reason it wasn't shown is there's not an existing usable, is there still usable road?
Am I missing something? Cause it just.
Well, if you're not using it, why not just go the whole way then? Why leave? the-
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
why
not-
leave that
yeah.
little 60-foot there if you're not using it?
They want to be able to. I mean, they want a road there eventually. I mean, they just,
Who wants the road?
Same.
We'd like to keep it as an option to get tractors there.
Is there an existing curb cut? Or maybe they don't, there are farm driveways that, okay, abandoned, whatever, but some of them have like a culvert there, or it was obvious at some point that there was road access,
There was years ago, yes.
but that's gone now, not.
it just hasn't been used in a long time.
It may be overgrown, but is it where somebody could look and say like, gee, we could actually drive in there? Could
I think so. I don't know.
that be shown on there? Or,
mean. If it's, if you, instead of using.
is it farm driveway or roadway?
Yes. It was a farm roadway that led up to.
This was the map we had to use when we were fighting for this property line with Madonna. This is the road in question right here. And this was the ultimate agreement. I feel that the Stewarts didn't get the best of it because this is the road that we're talking about. This is the road in question. This is the road that is shown on this map right here. And that's the farmhouse right there. These are old aerial photos. And so, I mean, obviously they had to split it. That's what we came up with. It wasn't the most ideal thing, because if you look here, you can see there's an old stone wall here. Everything indicated that that's where the property used to go, but somebody surveyed it and put it on that side. And so the agreement was to split it, but their intention is maybe someday to be able to still utilize what was this road. This was actually an old farmhouse up here long before. But that's kind of what we're talking about.
So this solid side dotted line, boundary line, okay?
Yeah.
Now let's look at this one. That line follows
Yes,
here,
yes,
which is their property. That roadway,
that's split now.
So the.
is it common
property
that
line
a
is-
driveway or roadway like that would get split half to one property, half to the other? So if it was ever put back in, that it would be half and half?
I mean, there are agreements, like private agreements between property owners,
Well,
same thing as these.
The issue that we had was before Tony Madonna bought that piece of property that was north of them. Everybody agreed that the property line was the stone wall. Who was there before?
Sure.
That was the property line, that was the property line. Nobody bothered to check what the tax map said. What this all said, the legal stuff. It was just, I mean, her father's 90 years old and it was just always an agreement. Like, there's an old, it shows right here, there's an old willow. It's the willow tree. That's where the line goes this way. And so when it finally push came to shove and Tony comes in and he says, well, I own all the way over to here. Well, no, you don't. It's the stone wall. So they got into a legal battle that went on for the better part of 2 years. The final outcome was just to split that discrepancy down the middle.
Should be some agreement on file.
And that was the final, both lawyers said, look, we can sit here, maybe you'll win, maybe you'll win, but it's gonna be 100-0. Or 100-0 this way. Somebody's gonna lose. If you wanna settle this thing now, let's just split it down the middle and everybody walk away. And that's basically what's the agreement.
But that's not reflected in here, is what you're saying.
Well, this is the actual, what you see in this map here, the one that we're presenting today is the actual property line.
So show this to,
This was the agreement 2 years ago.
That's what you're showing here.
Yes, exactly.
It's just the driveway, not showing.
Right.
Okay,
And then this is, this is from, I don't know, how long ago, 1951. 1938. It shows that road. And I just think through time, this got worn away. And like I say, this was always supposedly the property line on the other side of it. Well, when the survey came back and all these numbers came in, it showed that.
Why can this say they fought hard for this middle?
so the reason they're asking about this is generally for the code, we don't want double frontage on one lot. So you're having 2 access points. Right? That's what we're looking at. Yeah,
For which lot? Lot 1?
yeah.
We just want farm access. We're not looking for.
which,
Yeah. Across by 2.
So I wonder, yeah, but I think you could extend to the property line and make your driveway.
Within agreement.
It's all family, yeah. Nothing
So,
changes.
so this is non-conforming with our code because you have 2 access points to this road. So to avoid having to go to the ZBA, you could have this go here and then show us an easement for that. Or, you can go to the ZBA and request a non-conforming lot saying you want it, that's what 2 sections of frontage.
I think that's what they want. That was the old plan. Again, this was the siblings that said, they talked about it and I would think that's.
Part of the driveway, right? It's not, it's 60 feet. The important part is your driveway. This driveway strip is the
But there's
important part.
Yeah,
So if this line goes to here, you know, it comes, you take it in with lot two, you're not giving anything up. You can still keep that right.
well, they
in
would,
driveway easement.
You just add the legal language that guarantee you have use of. Kind of give you like, oh, you can do that, fine, you can get it there. One of the questions you have to do.
so we, that's the other way. We're doing the zoning board to be what?
The second. Frontage.
Or if you file that 60 feet, make it all part of it. Yes.
Yeah, no, there should be a.
There should be a locator map.
Says,
Yeah.
okay.
Anybody looking at it, can go ahead and figure out what is here. Surveyor will know, yes, and put a locator map.
Okay.
We'll figure it out or something. And
There's no.
no, we're just talking through, but yeah.
Whatever's there has been there for.
That is the driveway. It's the
So you have to make lot two go all the way over and just talk about an easement or get a variance from the zoning board. Here. Else or just a little bit.
locator map on there, and then your decision which way you're gonna go. If it's variance, like we spoke with the last applicant, so to get on to the next. Or, yeah. But no. Well, May 12, it's a public hearing, so if you get, while you're advertising out, these 10 days ahead of time.
And if we don't have to get a variance and we move that over.
You do. get easement, then you will, which that would. Yeah, that would be public hearing for us with that change. If you decide to do the 60. It's like, you know, your lot line back over here, but have an easement here. Get the easement worked out with the lawyer. Okay, you can come back here for the public hearing. Either way, it could be public. You have questions, just
Well, it's just hard to get all four of them together in one room and to agree on something and they had agreed on this. So that's all.
the zoning board. Variance.
You need to do the application for the zoning board.
You would just have to hustle.
Basically, it's an application fee for that board, or else it's gonna be a lawyer fee for you.
Changing the survey.
Yes, but we do need to look there.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Just ask them, ask the surveyor for a location. John is.
It's clear that lot one currently is actually next parcel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that needs to be resolved because. Not. Without that, people in my part.
So. Actually, two. There's gonna be a standard step of procedure for this. Okay, where is? Okay,
This is like. Set up now.
Is it at-
I think, I'm not sure.
Yeah, the rectangle, the lines are actually on the map.
Okay, with a little,
I find it hard to believe it's a landlocked parcel.
That big.
Yeah,
So this road originally, here, went up to.
So the
old
history-
house.
if you look at the map that he had, it went up into,
Yeah,
gotcha.
that old house up there,
Okay,
you're right up there. And then my grandmother bought this Belgian farm,
okay.
and that was it, that's how they got to it, right here.
Okay, so we're still going from a 2 lot to 2 lot. Right? Because right now it's 2 parcels,
This is a.
but they want to subdivide off the house, combine the other, so it's still 2 lots. You follow me?
Must be.
then I guess that
Yeah.
if that other parcel, this rectangle up here is gonna remain a separate parcel, then there needs to be some formal access provided.
Goes.
But I think what they want to do is make it one parcel.
Have you?
Yeah.
And that's part of the action the board has to take,
And that's
is
an
to
improvement, you know, that's,
dissolve the property.
yeah, and that eliminates the landlocked piece.
Right.
So this is all very
Yeah,
good.
all I was doing is pointing out, you probably should address that as part of your.
So on the,
He's gotta become one parcel.
Street tax bills, there's a Belgian tax, but this tax bills.
We're showing that as one parcel.
okay,
You got 2 tax.
so is,
Hopefully, when we're done, it'll be one tax.
right, but in the state,
Yeah, if you have a lot line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in procedural matters. So currently, the land that we're looking at and dealing with right now. The most northern piece. Should that be? Like dissolved into or absorbed into. The rest of it to start with, and then we go through and subdivide off the house?
Well, it's confusing because the application that they submitted is just for the subdivision of this.
But it refers to
So-
2 parcel numbers though.
Yeah, we'd have, yeah. If we want it just to be the one parcel number, then yeah, they'll have to get a new map.
They're just subdividing lot one. or
Yeah, that's-
Subdividing the southern piece, taking a little piece out of that. And you're just leaving the rectangle alone as a separate part. Then it becomes.
Basically, is what's the best way to do this to provide this track record? So it's somebody 20 years from now says, oh, you had 2 parcels in the family, what happened to parcel number so and so? We've got to be able to show it in our paperwork and procedures that that parcel got absorbed into another parcel, but it.
Well, you need the procedure to eliminate one tax map number
Yeah.
and put the other one under the other tax map.
If it's 2 parcels.
Well, I think most of it's
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because actually right now it's a non-conforming lot because it is landlocked.
Okay.
It cleans it up.
It cleans it up, yeah.
Why can't you just lot line adjust it?
I don't know.
Why not just lot line adjustment? You don't do that.
That's what I'm asking Tim.
It can be done that way.
That would be the
easiest, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Already 2 tax maps, you wanna end up with 2 tax maps. About it.
But what you're suggesting is this lot becomes. So I don't know the machinations of moving a lot line to end up with a.
So
What we
right
have
now,
here.
as we sit here today, this is one and this is one.
Yeah.
This
That
line,
doesn't
this line
exist.
doesn't exist.
Correct.
I don't know anything, but it would seem that this, you could do a lot line adjustment.
And then do this as a
This
subdivision.
tax map becomes this parcel, and this tax map becomes everything else.
I follow you.
Yeah.
Tim, time wise, Can that be done?
Yeah, if I had an updated survey,
So what he's saying is the updated survey we have to show this parcel. And this parcel. Without those lines. Okay, so that we can show the county that you had this parcel and you had this parcel. You're gonna do basically. He's gonna raise that line from this all into one parcel. Okay, then we look at it, that you're gonna subdivide that off. Through the county's eyes, so we can track everything through. I have to set up this easier, okay, to that way. So I have another survey done.
Your mom owns both of those right now, right? It's all in the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have to be under the same owner to do that.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I actually own three, I mean, this parcel right here,
There's.
Yeah, that's, we're not.
Yeah,
That's.
yeah, we got.
That, do it. That's 60 feet.
I don't want to go make it all, like, does he make it all one?
Sure, if it's happening.
What project, Amelia, are we? This.
Yeah, I mean, if,
This.
are these owned by separate
No, you
people?
made it all.
They're saying, yeah, so it's not like you need to transfer a property over before.
No, it's a simplistic move, but I think it provides a track record that everybody can track through, but.
That will happen.
They're also not creating a new lot technically, so they can have their 60 feet without doing.
Well, they have. That's why they,
But they're not creating a new lot.
It's gonna happen.
this new little one is what they're doing.
No, they're not, they're not adjusting the boundary.
So there's,
Well. It's just. Yeah.
It's like a split. That's.
to me, it seems like it's possible to do the whole thing with the lot line.
That's all right.
oh, good, lot two.
Yeah.
Adjusting this line to here, and you're
Well, you're-
adjusting this line to here.
Well, the first thing would be,
No, thank you. I grow grass and put steak, so.
Yeah, I farm, so I get
you
it.
know.
They get it too well. I think the county does so. Tim and Amelia, what's the best course of action for doing this to provide the clean cut track record of what we're doing, trying to do?
Well, I mean, what we are approving is what should be filed, so. however you
Should
come-
this map reflect that? There's. It's almost like two parcels into three, but they want to join two of them back together again.
For our purposes, I'm not super worried about it. They own it, yeah, this already exists in its current.
But they're
It's
doing
cleaner
away.
to do it that way.
Yeah.
In which case, then, yeah, they need a new map.
My parents' property is actually this.
we just did one, so it's like that way. And we, you don't even need to spell that. You know.
Pick one. I'm getting John a headache.
So,
Yes, Tim.
well, I'd be comfortable with a lot line adjustment for what's labeled as lot one, and then the smaller landlocked parcel above it. The lot two doesn't currently exist right now, so I wouldn't wanna involve that with a lot line adjustment and create an
Exist. Yeah, it's not being.
Yeah,
created.
I agree with
non-conforming
that.
parcel.
So,
while
see,
doing
this
it.
process.
This confusion is this is really lot two. So lot two is gonna move this line to corporate lot one. And lot one, this stays lot one.
Right, yeah.
You're right.
The two step. to keep it clean. Keep it clean, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So what are
The
they?
the good news is, okay. We're doing away with a landlocked, non-conforming parcel. Okay, that's the good news. We do need a map to show which one. Basically on here, okay, you get the owners. That parcel number, okay. This total area here, we have to include that and not show up to. And see Tim do a lot line adjustment. This goes away. And then the acreage is going to be reflective of what these together. And statements up here aren't good figure anymore. Everything's one big one, then we'll go back into a lot one and lot two.
In lot two, we're better off just going to that north,
Yeah.
or we're gonna leave that space there.
And be our preference not to have the 60 foot there, but. That's your call. If it's gonna stay there, but it's either. You have to go to the CBA to get a variance. Because a non-conforming lot, then with the two different roof frontages, 60 doesn't beat 200 feet.
I just thought it'd be better to have two road frontages, so based on we're just trying to farm. It gives them access to different points.
But you have to think, but there's a lot of farmers here, and I get what you're saying with that, but you also have to think down the road. Okay, that we see people in here all the time, it's like, oh yeah, I get along with our neighbor, we're fine, you know, be forever, you know, we can share a driveway. Well, somebody moves out, and the next one comes in and doesn't get along. Okay, doesn't
Okay,
get
well,
along.
they're thinking the same thing, because right now the four siblings are okay. But one of them may not be in a few years. So they wanted to retain
But
ownership of that.
current code is frontage is 200 feet.
It's over.
So, I mean, if, let's say, for instance, that this was 600 feet and you'd have three that would have 200 feet, and then you'd have a 60 foot that's not conforming. You're gonna be right back at the ZBA trying to argue whether that 60 foot is sufficient. If in planning, you can think ahead to the long run with your access meeting the minimum standards of the town, things go a lot smoother down the road for the town.
You know, you can keep the easement so it's full 60 feet. Just move the line, then that easement will protect your future needs.
Okay. Want to say it in the deed, and the
Well, that-
deed will say, you know, this is their easement. Okay.
Just don't. Distinct.
You bet your word it's already in the ledge.
God, you said this was good.
Wow.
So I gotta go see Tim to get the lot line adjustment. And then part two is we can come back in and apply for a subdivision, or what do we?
It would then. Basically, you're just gonna change some of your wording out here to lot subdivision, but the question. Again, if you go the easement, go to a subdivision. If you're gonna keep 60 foot, yeah, go for the variance. There's still a 2 lot subdivision.
Okay, to do that in one step. They do the lot adjustment.
The line adjustment. You could come in tomorrow. If you had the maps tomorrow, you could come in tomorrow and we get that started. Line adjustment, the line adjustments, the easiest, quickest.
So just make it one person and go from there. Not that the maps would- or they not give me the- put on the agenda for next month.
Well, depends which way you're going with it. You have to talk with your family. Okay, Linda, I'll get your family and siblings. Figure out whether you want to go with easement. Or apply for loans.
I think that's better because you're dealing with 60 days.
And you could do that, the same guy. Basically, it just, it eliminates this line here, pushes it over there. It doesn't matter in the town's eyes, because this is one solid access phase, not where they said it could need two, you know, they not being.
The road frontage that's needed. Well, you can hear. Sister, that's the great thing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. That's all I have.
So motion to.
There's a motion to. I second it. Doug seconded it, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.